Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your July 16th to the 31st, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. Ooh, fantastic. It's a bit... No, spirit saying leave it. Okay. It's an intense space you guys have going on there. Let's see what our inner self will be. Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. The Heart. Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. This here. And then our public arena. Aries, July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. No, I used the wrong deck. Here we go. Aries, July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Aries, July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. Okay. So the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Page of Swords, which is, once again, air sign energy. The 10 of Pentacles, which is brilliant. The 7 of Pentacles, which is patience. And then the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. Time frame, June 21st to July 22nd. We have the 6 of Wands as the inner self. And the 10 of Cups, which I love. I love the 10 of Cups. It's the card that says, and they all live happily ever after, which is lovely. We have the 6 of Cups as the heart, the Ace of Pentacles, and the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Wands. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, again, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, not again. I don't know why I'm saying again. Oh, that's because we have us taking the gift here. It's going to be a little bit wonky. Yeah. How that gift is taken. And then we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy, time frame November 22nd to December 21st. All right. It's interesting because at our root, we're in battle with ourselves. And that's going to be something that gets called out a lot during this time. And we have to be not too logical about things, but not logical about things. So there's going to be, that's going to be something that we'll talk about. So let's see what our chakra energy is. Aries, July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have creativity, which is the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra, as I always say, and as spirit always conveys, it's a tricky chakra, because it's where our creative energy is, it's where our sexual energy is, but it's also where all our drama from this life and from past lives is held. So when we have the sacral chakra coming into play, with our creativity, it's amplifying our creative aspect for this time as a fire sign energy. That aspect for ourselves is already amplified. So this is going to be a time where intensity comes into play and where we need to focus on ourselves, our goals, our desires, our dreams, our wishes, and everything in between that we might think, oh, well, that's a bit extra. This is a time where we can be a bit extra and not be so harsh upon ourselves, not be so angry with ourselves, not be so overwhelmed with ourselves. We have to say, this is my time to grow, to nourish, to bloom, to let the sun's rays, especially if we're in the northern hemisphere, let the sun's rays soak into me and let myself experience a beauty, a prosperity, an intensity, and a brilliance. So let's look at our energy to be mindful of. What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of? July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of? July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. The moon. That makes sense. So what we have to be mindful of here, when it comes to the moon, it's not only that we have to be mindful of Pisces energy, because Pisces is represented by the moon in the major arcana. That's time frame February 19th to March 20th. We have to be mindful of our fears coming into play more so than our grace and acceptance and beauty and power and brilliance of self and soul and discovery. This is going to be a time where it's going to be really easy to get in our own heads. This is going to be a time where we can sit there and say, you know what, no beauty has come from anything. And so what we have to be mindful of is our own fear. You can't see that, can you? No. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, brilliant. So what we have to be mindful of is our own fear. What is overwhelming? What can become intoxicating just in its own sense of it takes a life of its own. And we have to be very mindful of people who play off of that fear, who sit there and are fearmongers and who, want us to stay afraid and overwhelmed and want to perpetuate the state of unrest and disharmony and discord within our own souls. And this is where we step right into the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords takes nobody's bull at all. The Queen of Swords is the warrior queen. She cuts through doubts and fears and negativities, hurts and pains, and she stands in her grace and her glory, and she says, I've earned this throne. And for so many of us, that's such a hard thing to do, to say, I've earned this. I've earned this throne. I've earned this place within my life. I've earned this power. This is who I am. This is what I want to be. This is what I desire. And to be able to speak our truth into the world with confidence and competence of self. So often, and you might not have seen the same thing, but I see it time and time again. There are people who are super confident. And you think, why? And that sounds mean. But why? Why do you think that the sun and the moon and the stars are so rightfully yours, where you haven't done anything to earn it? And those who have earned it, who have put in their blood, sweat, and tears, doubt themselves, downplay themselves. And so here with the Queen of Swords, there is a passion and there is a power and there's an intensity that comes forward that says, this is the space I get to occupy. And it is more of the masculine energy within the queens. So the queens represent the sacred feminine, most definitely. But the Queen of Swords, for me, also has this power of the sacred masculine coming forward. And we need that balance within it, that sense of, I have every right to take up this space. I have every right to stand in this power, in this grace, in this intuition, in this being that is me. And I cut through so much, but I also hold the weapon within my hands. And that's my mind and my words and my ability to express and to be and to not be apologetic. And so as we are the queen, as we are this power and this passion and this beauty and this brilliance, we are also the Page of Swords. We are also the student and the learner and the person who's saying, well, I don't know how to use my words exactly the way that I want to, and I don't know how to step into the power that I was born with, and I apologize too much, or I am timid and I'm not sure. And that's okay. Because so often when we have this power coming forward within us, we think, I just have to be this. And so often in our world, we think, I just have to be this. I just have to be the queen, the ruler, the person who people take note of. Even though she's not the actor upon the stage, she's the director behind the scenes. People still know the directors. The directors are still intrinsically important. And so here we're going to say, well, where's my importance if I'm still learning, if I'm still developing? And this is kind of like the best place that you want to be, in my humble opinion, because it is the place of teacher and learner. It is the place of discoverer and seeker at the exact same time. And this is a place where we're going to find ourselves being more and more empowered, moving further in intensity of soul and desire of self, and opening up the doors and seeing ourselves more openly and more honestly. And it leads us to the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is like, here's your prosperity, here's your success and your bounty and everything in between. But will you see it? It is a gift that lasts for generations, and it's a gift that's carried through the generations. But because of how we as human beings are hardwired within our minds, it's so much easier to see the negative, and it's so much easier to remember the negative. These were the traumas that I was raised with. This is the hurt and the pain that I inherited. But by looking at that and being able to say, I see it, and maybe it made me grow up too fast, and maybe it robbed away some carefreeness from my life. But where's the wealth? Where's the prosperity? Here, we have the two people engaged in conversation, and they are so absorbed within their own world that they do not see the man who has the wealth, who has the wisdom. This is sacred ancient knowledge coming forward. This is wisdom that has maybe skipped generations, or this is happiness that was lost for a while and now gets to come back. We look at the pain and we think, I just get to be the pain. We don't look at the beauty. We don't look at the laughter. We don't look at the moments that shine like pure sunshine within people's lives and say, well, how can I extrapolate on that? How can I build off of that? How can that be part of my world and my soul and myself and my abundance? And that's what we're going to see here, because the animals see it, the children see it, the ones who aren't so corrupted by the ego, that they get to see the wonderment. And that's going to be really important for us. It's also an end of a cycle when it comes to wealth, when it comes to our view of money, how we let money take over our lives, or how we let ourselves be ruled by it. And this becomes a time where we look at it and say, I see your worth. Like, I see what you're doing here. And I see that everybody's agreed upon this game where these little, if you're in America, if you're in the United States, these little green pieces of paper mean something. But I also see that there's more to life than that. And it brings us to the Seven of Pentacles. It brings us to the patience. And patience is the hardest thing to have. When you kind of look at everybody else and say, oh my gosh, everybody else is succeeding, everybody else is so prosperous, everybody else is doing, and I'm here. Because we don't see behind closed doors. Even with reality TV, it's all scripted, it's all has 18 million takes to it. What we need here is to look at the prosperity and the power and the abundance and the brilliance that is, and the way divinity is growing it. And we can sprinkle Miracle Grow and put Monogolite on everything and say, critters stay away and grow as quickly as possible. But it's going to take time. And that's something that we as human beings, we're not really that good at. We're not good at the time. But at the root of us, if we want the power and the prosperity, if we want the abundance, we have to be patient. But we also have to look outside of the box and say, what are the weeds that are strangling things? What is taking away the abundance, the beauty, and the power that is me? What is making it feel like I don't have enough time? Is it a real thing? Is it something that is quantifiable, or is it something that is from listening to everybody else and from, everybody else's ideas and desires to life? And then we have the Chariot. We're crowned with stars. The stars within the skies, they crown us during this time. And we have the subconscious and we have the conscious self. We have this way to move forward. And what divinity is saying here is be very mindful. Be very mindful of the way your conscious self wants you to be moving forward. And be very mindful of the way your subconscious self wants you to be moving forward, because at times they're going to be at odds with each other. And what are we guarding within our hearts? What are we guarding within our souls? Where is it that we want to be? And how is it that we are protecting that which is most sacred to us? It comes from the heart during this time. And that's going to be something that's hard for us to understand. That so much emotion and so much passion and so much, being is moving us forward. And at times it's going to be out of our control. But here's the thing, Aries. In Greek mythology, Aries falls in love with Venus, with Aphrodite. And that's the beautiful couple. And so War, the god of war, falls in love with the goddess of love. And during this time, we have to even be able, this might not just be the conscious and subconscious self, the shadow self and the self we show the world, but this can also be our calm selves and our anger self. What is it that we're resentful of? What is it that makes us, rip-roaring mad and furious and overwhelmed, and why? And have we been repressing that time and time again? And how do we move forward and say, but this is me. This is who I am, and it doesn't matter if I don't fit in. I like my jewelry. I like my clothing. I like my expression of self. I like my weirdness. Using it as personal examples, as I have my jewelry on for the first time in such a long time and feel human again. Feel like me again. And so here, it's like, what makes you feel like you? And what have you been taking away from yourself to make yourself fit in, to make yourself blend in, to make yourself be more quote unquote acceptable, even if divinity is calling you towards a route and towards a way of life and living that maybe people would laugh at, maybe people wouldn't understand. And this is a time where it falls right into the Six of Wands. It's like, this is a time to celebrate me, because I am different and unique and powerful. And so for each and every one of us, that's what we need to say. I'm different, I'm unique, I'm powerful. And I celebrate me. I celebrate my brilliance. I celebrate my passion. I celebrate my power. I celebrate my intuition. I celebrate this that I have worked so hard to cultivate, that I have hated at times and loved at others. I celebrate me. And then we have the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is, they all live happily ever after. And here's the thing with the Ten of Cups, is that it's a happily ever after, but it's for each individual. So when we're celebrating ourselves and we're looking at ourselves and we're seeing the things that we love, other people will hate those things about us. And that's fine. That's their right. And they should keep it to themselves, personally. But, they won't. So here, when we're celebrating who we are and what we fought for and how far we've come, we know every heartbreak, every night filled with tears that we have lived through, every time our knees have given out from underneath us, and it just felt like, I can't. And instead of saying, wow, I should have just been stronger during that time, why can't we celebrate that time? Celebrate that pain that we went through and we rose like the phoenix out of it. And the Ten of Cups is love and healing and beauty and passion, and it's our happily ever after. It's the fact that what is joyful for me might not be joyful for you, but that each and every one of us is entitled to our joy. I live in my joy. I express my joy. I get to be part of my joy. This is what we have to say to ourselves. And as we say this, and as we embrace this, and as we, look at ourselves openly and honestly and say, this is what I want, and this is what I really don't, This is not for me, but this is. That starts to lead us forward, and it brings us to the Six of Cups, because in our hearts, there is something here that was given and was taken away. It could have been a caregiver's love. It could have been, a sense of independence. It could have been a stuffed animal, that we absolutely adored and somebody, took it from us. The Six of Cups is going to make us face that trauma and that drama, that hurt and that pain and that disappointment and that anger and that upset. And the Six of Cups looks at us and says, what are you carrying here from your childhood? And where in your life and why in your life at times do you want to run away, to be small again, to be taken care of by somebody else? Who do we miss? Who do we want back that isn't going to come back? Because their time on this earth, in this incarnation, in this embrace of soul, is done. What pains are we carrying forward? What joys are we carrying forward? And how do they make us and shape us? It's a heavy card. It's a heavy, heavy card that has us reminiscent, that has us, looking at things very, very differently, and it leads us to the Ace of Pentacles. prosperity and success and bounty and being able to move forward in abundance. And this is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, saying this is your gift. This is your seed. This is what gets to be planted and grown within you. This is where you get to express yourself and be and embrace and embody. And it's within our own hearts that we're getting this gift of wealth. And because spirit works so differently than us and doesn't look at little pieces of paper that we give this value to and say, this matters more than anything else. It says, your soul matters more to me than anything else will ever. And I see you when you do not see yourself. So what seeds are being given, what seeds get to be cultivated and planted and nourished within us that move us forward? What is it that we want? What is it that we're rediscovering within us? What passion, what brilliance guides us forward? And the 10 of Wands, it's like, how long have you just been looking at the dirt on your shoes? How long have you been carrying an unbearable weight? And that unbearable weight can manifest in being everything for everybody else and being nothing for yourself, or stealing time for yourself and feeling guilty about it. It can be being sick, having a chronic illness, and just having each day be so overwhelming, so tiring just to get out of bed. The 10 of Wands, the burdens that we carry within this world, they're different for each and every one of us. It doesn't mean that they're less. And what we look at here is, what have I been carrying that I need to release? And if it's a chronic illness, how do I need to look at this illness differently to redefine me within it, or it within me? And how do I get to start to move myself forward towards beauty, towards wellness, towards prosperity of self? What is it that needs to be lessened, the weight that needs to be released from my shoulders, so that I see the sky again, I see hope again, I see brilliance again? And the 10 of Wands is saying that there needs to be this release. And it doesn't matter what's holding us back. It can be our own self-doubt. It can be that we hold a space for everybody. And when we hold space, and it sounds so silly to say, I hold space for this person. But when you meet somebody who actually opens up a part of themselves and says, I'm letting you in, just for this time, whilst we are talking, I am letting you in and letting your reality become part of my knowledge. And I'm honoring it, and I'm accepting it, and I'm building you towards brilliance. And the 10 of Wands is saying, I need that brilliance. But I also need, instead of holding space for everybody else, to take time and to be aware of myself. And what is it that is just overwhelming, that is breaking me down bit by bit, keeping me from seeing the sky, keeping me from embracing my joy? And it leads us then to the Knight of Pentacles. It leads us to passion moving forward, to taking this prosperity that's given within our heart and saying, you know what, I can make something of this. If we're born on the cusp with Taurus, if we have earth sign energy within our chart, this is going to be coming out quite intensely, just like the Cancer energy. So if we have this within our chart, it's going to be coming out intensely, just as the Sword energy, the air sign energy. And what we have to be aware of is that, yes, we have our main sign. We know we have our sun sign, our moon sign, our rising sign. But we also have everything else that makes us up. And this is going to be a time where we have to honor the complexity, the incongruousness, the way that we, contradict ourselves. And moving forward slowly and steadily, because the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight towards our prosperity, towards our bounty, towards what we want to develop within our world, towards a blessing, towards beauty, and opening up to a world that gets to be ours. Things are not going to happen as quickly as we want them to happen within the public arena. There are blessings and there is balance that comes, all right? And we can find ourselves moving between two worlds during this time. It's like, and it can also be that we're the go-between at work or at home. People use us and say, not use us so much, but we're like that bridge. This can be a time where we're a bridge and we're connecting people's ideas. It could be a time where we're talking to friends and they're talking to their partners, or they're talking and they're saying something and the friend is saying something and we're listening to them. We're like, okay, well, you guys do know that you're saying the same things, right? But you're using your speech and they're using their speech. And this is a time of building bridges and helping to alleviate gaps. The Knight of Pentacles is us moving slowly towards what we desire, because again, we're moving slowly in the exterior world, which is sometimes the only world that we judge ourselves in. But inwardly, we're moving forward leaps and bounds. We're starting to see ourselves in a new light, and we're starting to redefine how we look at ourselves as successful, how we look at ourselves as bountiful, how we look at ourselves, period. And there's balance coming in, and there's harmony coming in. And if you have, Sagittarius energy within your chart, this is a time where it's coming out. And we're going to start to see that the depth of things matter. We want to know the history behind things. We want to know the stories behind things. We want to know how things puzzle together and work. So this is also a time where we might not be moving as quickly forward as we want to, because we're like, okay, I have to just know everything. At times we have to kind of step back from that, because we will never know everything. We need to know when it is enough and when we have gathered enough. Our subconscious chakra energy is abundance, the root chakra. This is a time where wealth is called in, because we are redefining what prosperity is, what success is, what abundance is. But we're also redefining the way we see ourselves. The root chakra is our rooted self. And so during this time, we start to see at our roots, we weren't made to suffer. We were made to flourish. And that does not mean that every single person was made to have, gold falling from the ceilings. But every single person is made to have a quality of life that is beautiful. Not exactly the same, but it should not be riddled with suffering after suffering after suffering. And so the abundance comes forward. And it says here, what is abundant for me? What is bringing me joy and grace and beauty into my life? How do I connect to my roots? And at times this can be hard, because our roots might not be like everybody else's roots. And we might just desperately want to fit in, desperately not want to be different anymore. And this is a time, or, to let our difference show and to be accepted. And we might not be finding that. And so here we start to say, but this is my abundant me. This is my me that gets to be seen. And as I tear away the ego, as I tear away the expectations of others, this is who I'm left with. Can I live with it? Is this what I want to be left with? And then it moves us to our rooted self. And our subconscious, not rooted self, our subconscious inner self is the Page of Swords, which plays off of the Page of Swords that is right here at our root. And this is a sense of discovery, of insight, of asking questions, of finding the power of our own voice, of saying, well, maybe I express my world differently. Maybe the way that I express existence isn't the same way that others express existence, but what is wrong with that? And embracing the power of ideas, the intuition of soul, the sense of cutting away so much nonsense and being left with something that is really quite extraordinary. And it brings us then to our subconscious rooted self now, which is our dreams. Something that has been veiled from us is going to be discovered. It's like we're getting top secret clearance in something. There's going to be something that was kept from us from knowing, and all of a sudden it is revealed. And it's like, oh my gosh, is that it? You're like, oh, okay. And it can be that we start to hold the secret. And the secret can be the power of who we are, and the dreams that we've had, and the intensity of where we're headed. But the secret can also be that it is in plain sight for everybody, but everybody does not see it. And so there's going to be some sort of knowledge that comes in, that gets to be a working, waking part of us, that is so powerful. And we're going to think, like, why don't you see it? Like, why doesn't everybody embrace this? And that's where we start to embrace our minds differently. We start to see things differently. We start to see ourselves differently, and the power of our words, and where we are headed, and how we are sculpting that through our fears, through our voice, through our expression. And it leads us then to our subconscious emotional self, which is the Chariot. And the Chariot here is speed, and it is, difference, and it is the stars and the crown, and having power guide us. It is the subconscious and the conscious. It is the unknown and the known taking winning, being able to move within this world as we move within this world, and with a sense of daring on our side. The Chariot always has a bit of daring. Like here, it's represented by a motorcycle, but a chariot back in its day, that was driven by emperors and pharaohs. It took tremendous skill and tremendous money to have. Excuse me. It moves us then to our subconscious public self. And that's the Page of Pentacles. Again, around wealth, but it is not going to be the accumulation of wealth the way that we want it. We're going to be defending its growth. We're going to be learning from it. We're not going to be moving as quickly as we want to be moving. This can be a time where we're a little bit frustrated at times because it's like, okay, well, how do I get to the next level? And what Spirit is going to be saying, it's like when you start to understand and take in the beauty of this level, then things will start to change. And it can be a really bumpy ride when we're not taking in the beauty of where we stand right now, of what we are embracing within our hearts, within our souls, and within ourselves. And that can make things a little bit messy, a little bit overwhelming, but it's also going to start to open up our eyes in a way that we weren't anticipating, in a way that moves us forward in power and assurance of self, and in a sense of like, well, this is me, and this is the me I need to embrace. A student, a learner, a discoverer, a adventurer, a becomer. And it doesn't matter our age. So often, especially within this world, we think age is everything, especially, in the Western world, or mainly in the United States, I don't know. But it's like age is everything. And it's not. It's the least interesting thing about us. And what it is here is the sense of, this is how I'm discovering. This is what I'm learning and building and guiding from and with. And this is how I'm opening up the door. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and this is the one that's going to kind of mess with our heads the most, is the Page of Pentacles and the Princess of Pentacles here. And it's going to be this sense of, well, why can't I? It's going to be this princess mentality when it comes to money. It's like, well, why can't I? Why can't I have this? And why can't I move forward this way? And why can't it be easier? And this can be somebody that we're dealing with that we really just want to make happy. We really want to make their dreams come true and to have their prosperity come forward to them in a really real and honest way. But we can't take away somebody else's lessons. And we can't take away what others have to learn. So this is going to be a time also where somebody will be like, you should try this experimental thing. Like, you should, do something wild and crazy. And maybe it would be right to do something wild and crazy. But we have to look at all the information and take it in first before just acting on it, because we want some sort of change. We want some sort of daring to come into our lives. And we're tired of the monotony. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power of ourselves, which can be scary to see. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.